fantasy fans, welcome back. It's Dan here with TreeBeard Book Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about my 8 least favorite books of 2021. So, just to preface, like, I don't hate these books, but these ones just weren't my favorites of the year. So let's get into it. Okay, guys, so I just want to say, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys had a happy Christmas and, really excited to be back here and coming out with a new video. I'm going to have like a little scrolling, video here, clip here that shows all the books I've read in 2021. It doesn't have what I'm currently reading. I'm still reading Caliban's War right now and The Dragon Reborn. So kind of making my way through those. So should hopefully have them wrapped up by the end of the year. But again, just, thank you guys for watching my channel. I know you guys have seen my top 10 videos or my top 10 books of the year. So now I want to get through my least favorite books. And as I said earlier, I might not have hated all these books. Just some of them just maybe weren't just my favorites of the year. Because I read a lot of good books. And I think that's what kind of made this list really challenging to make. So again, guys, if you like my content, you like the channel, it helps out if you subscribe and if you like and you'll send a comment below. I also have a Discord, so why don't we start getting into this list? Okay, guys, so number 8. So a lot of these books I actually don't have physical copies for. So number 8, the first book is Malice by John Gwynne. It's the first book in The Faithful and the Fallen. It's my number 8. It was a decent book, but I found it really slow. I didn't really connect with a lot of the younger characters very early on in the book. And it took a little bit, I think I was like 70% or maybe 60% of the book before I even really started caring about any kind of characters in the book. So it wasn't terrible. I would recommend The Faithful and the Fallen. I've read the whole series now. I will have a review coming out for Wrath, the last book in the series. So yeah, Malice, number 8. Not a great book, like not a bad book, but not great. Not as good as Valor and Ruin were for me, at least. And you saw that, Valor just missed the list on my top 10. It was just on the short list, but yeah, great book all around. So let's get into number 7. Okay, guys, number 7. It's actually a Wheel of Time book, because I mentioned, I started Wheel of Time once COVID hit. And I finished it this earlier in the year. I think in April I finished it. And now I'm going back and rereading because I just enjoy it so much because it's just amazing. But you know what? Like, in a 15-book series, you're going to get some stinkers. And it's probably no surprise. And if you guys have seen my ranking of the Wheel of Time tier list, that Crossroads of Twilight is my least favorite Wheel of Time book. It's just one of those books that it was just right at near the end of the slog or right in the middle of the slog. And yes, I did feel like there was a slog at some points. But I mean, I know it's all there to just set up a lot of the, the last book in the series. But yeah, this book, like, because something huge happens in Winter's Heart, right? And you're waiting as a reader to, like, for the rest of the world to kind of figure out or realize that this thing has happened. And it does not, it's almost like what this book is like is actually, it's different POVs from different characters. So it's almost like comparing like Dance of Dragons and like Feast for Crows, where it's the same timeline but different POVs. So this one's following like Elaine and stuff like that. And I just didn't love it. It was just boring. It was really boring. And there's a lot of stuff that happens with Matt in the book and like Tuon that I just don't care because I just do not like Tuon as a character. I think she's an awful person. So yeah, number 7, Crossroads of Twilight is one of my least favorite books of the year. So let's move on. All right, so number 6. We actually gonna have a Pratchett on here, and it's not a Discworld book. It's actually The Carpet People by Terry Pratchett. So this is his first novel. It was fun. It's a really fun light novel. There's just not a lot here. And I think that just kind of speaks to the length of the book. I think he did some amazing world building, and you can see where, he's eventually laying the foundation for the Discworld, but it wasn't there for me, this book. It was just kind of not boring, but it didn't have something that gripped me and clicked with me. And even though it was so short, like, I felt like a little bit of a chore for me to read. But I did enjoy it. Like, I did enjoy the characters like a Snibberl, and the book wasn't long enough to get attached to them. And yeah, it was one of those books I just didn't get attached to anyone. None of the characters really jumped out to me. Like, and now it's been a few weeks since I've read it. I can barely remember any of the characters. And like I said, I'm a character reader, so just not having that good character, like to grip me, it just didn't do much for me. The plot was okay. I liked some of the, the stuff he did with like tying stuff into Rome and like the barbarians and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just a very light book, and it's meant for younger audience, so it just wasn't for me. So yeah, my number 6 is The Carpet People. Number 5, halfway through the list. Again, we actually have another Terry Pratchett book, and this is a Discworld book, and this will be the only Discworld book on here, and it might be no surprise, and it is Soul Music by Terry Pratchett. This one just didn't do it for me. I really didn't like connect with a lot of characters. The only character I really connected with was Susan. I really liked Susan, and it was only really Susan who made me want to keep reading this book. And I think it was just, I didn't get a lot of the music references. I'm not a big music buff, and a lot of the references are older, like, like golden age of music, I guess, for Terry, which was like the 60s, like 50s and 60s for like Elvis and stuff like that, and like Buddy Holly. Just didn't get a lot of the references. Didn't care too much about the band, like Impy Kellen or Buddy Holly. He became kind of like a robot because he died and like the music took over his life, and it was just, or like he's supposed to have died and the music took over his life. So he was just like really kind of boring. Just didn't enjoy the band too much. I liked Glod. Glod was funny, like the dwarf, because dwarves are just amazing. But yeah, this one it didn't have a lot there for me. And as much as I love the Discworld books, like this is probably the weakest of the Discworld books I've read this year. This year in 2021. I didn't connect with any of the characters. Like, this is a death book. Death's barely in it. Death's like a footnote in this book. This is the only interesting thing that happened with Death, is when he talked to, like, Susan went back in time and had a conversation with him. That was the only really interesting bit. And then the stuff at the end, it's like, it's fine. It was an okay Discworld book. Nothing to write home about. Some people may love it, and I think if you're a music fan, you would definitely love it. Just for me, it just didn't do it for me, and that's fine. Like, we all have to, we're all gonna have books we don't enjoy, and like the great thing with Discworld, and which I've been told by a few of my friends now on the Discord channel, is if you don't like one, pick up another one, and that's exactly what I did. I went and read The Hogfather next, and it was like amazing, right? So yeah, summer duds depends on your how you are as a reader. For me, Soul Music just wasn't it. So my number 5 is Soul Music. All right, moving on to number 4. So the bottom 4 here, these ones I didn't like. These books I just didn't enjoy. And this number 4 book, I'm not going to go into any kind of big spoilers here because I do have a full review coming out for it in January 2022. So my number 4 is Wrath by John Gwynne, the 4th book in the Faithful and the Fallen. Like I said, I'm not going to say too much. Like, wait for the review to come out. This book it missed for me. It really, I think the issue too was I had such high hopes coming in from, Valor and Ruin into Wrath, and it just didn't hit the mark. And it was the shortest of all the Faithful and the Fallen books, which I do appreciate. I really appreciate that by John Gwynne, that, he was able to write a shorter last book. But yeah, just a lot of the characters who I liked in this book didn't really get the satisfying ending that I would have loved. And I think some of the character work felt off. Like, some of the characters made decisions that didn't make sense to who they were in the previous books. And the villains just kind of got tiring. So again, look for my review. It just didn't hit for me. And it's a shame because it's, the last book in the series and you want it to finish strong. And it probably would have brought the whole series down for me. I am glad I read The Faithful and the Fallen. Like, I'm still going to go on and read the sequel. I'm looking forward to John Gwynn's new book, Hunger of the Gods, coming out in April. So I know it's a completely separate series, but yeah, I mean, it sucks that it was like a little bit of a sour bite to end the meal of The Faithful and the Fallen. So yeah, so let's move on to number 3. All right, number 3, bottom 3, and my number 3 least favorite book of the year was Jade War, and this is probably gonna be an unpopular opinion. I just really did not enjoy this book. Like, at least the last half of the book. The first, half of the book I really enjoyed. Really liked what was going on with Hilo and Shay, and, their families are growing, and it was actually kind of gripping me. And then it just kept flipping over to Andon, and Andon's on like this other continent, and it's so boring, and he was so whiny. I just didn't care. and there's a lot of fake out deaths, just a lot of like building like false tension in the book. You know, I love the magic and I love what she did with the magic system in this book, but it was such a far jump from Jade City to me. And to call this book Jade War, it just didn't feel like a war. Like Jade City was more of a Jade War, and Jade War is more of a Jade City because you know, you got to see more of Kikon, you get to see more of Aspinia and see like the dynamics of the cities there. And like the villain was just crap in this book. Like, yeah, it was just not good for me. I'm kind of hesitant now going into Jade Legacy. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to finish the series because I want to see how it ends. But I don't have super high hopes for how she's going to end it. Maybe this book just suffers from middle book syndrome, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. And I know a lot of other booktubers love the Jade, you know, the Greenbone saga. I do like it. It's just, this one just didn't do it for me. So let's get on to my number 2 least favorite book of 2021. Number 2 is The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton. You know, this is the first, like, Crichton's first book, and or under his name. I think it's his 7th book. Like, he published 6 books under like a pseudonym or a false name. But yeah, like, this one was just, it was good and it had me hooked, like, right up to the, like, near the end, and it was just like, you know, peak, 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 and then crash and burn at the ending, where it just like, he just didn't deliver on the ending. And Michael Crichton's kind of known for those type of endings where it's like, he just ends the book and it's like, okay, you as the reader need to now put it together for yourself and just just imagine in your mind what happened. And so he built this up like this trickle, 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 then snip. And I just felt so unsatisfying. It was such an unsatisfying ending. And like the stuff he says in this book are really cool, like with the technology and just the way the Andromeda Strain evolves and how deadly it is and how it kills people. He had me hooked early, and then it just fizzled out. And it's one of those books that it could have ended with a bang, but it just ended with a whimper. So yeah, number 2 is The Andromeda Strain. All right, last book of this list, you know, least favorite book of the year. This is probably no surprise if you guys have been watching my videos and watching my channel. And that is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I don't actually have the book anymore. I gave it to a friend. He's like, he was interested in reading. I'm like, here, take it and keep it. I don't want it back because I just hated this book. You know, the more I've thought about it, and I think I was too generous with my review. I just hated every part of that book, to be honest. Like, hated the character. The plot was stupid. And like there is some message, like life lessons and like, you know, messages in there and like important themes, but I felt it's been done better since. And yeah, I just didn't like it. And the movie's better. The movie's way better than the book. The book sucked in my mind. And I know, and I think that's, for me, it would make me not pick up a Philip K. Dick book again. Like, I don't think, I'm not gonna go run out there and pick up a new Philip K. Dick book. Like, if I see one and I get some strong recommendations, and I've had people recommend some Philip K. Dick books to me, but this book was such a turnoff for me on this author that I don't know if I'd pick him up again. And like I said, I got rid of it. I don't care if I get it back again. I told my friend, I'm like, keep it. So yeah, that was my least favorite book of 2021. Just didn't enjoy it. And like I said, some of these, you know, I did enjoy. I had some enjoyment out. And like, I think it's also, I just had a really good reading year and I read a lot of good books and I gave a lot of strong reviews. So, you know, these ones just didn't hit the mark for me. And that's okay. We all have different opinions. These are all just my opinions. And, you know, you could all love these books and that's fine. Like you're allowed to do that. Like we all have different personalities. We all have different feelings towards book. We all like different things from books. Like I love a character-driven books. My wife's more of a plot reader, right? So it's what the enjoyment you find from, you know, your books. And these ones just didn't hit the mark, and that's fine. And and I'm sure there's going to be the same books like that next year for 2022. So again, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this list, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.